What if I told you that most gardeners are wasting 75% of their growing potential? That while you are struggling with failed crops and disappointing harvest, there is a secret system that professional growers use to get incredible results year round. Welcome back to the Garden Spell. And after a few years of gardening professionally and teaching thousands of home gardeners, I am about to share the complete seasonal gardening system that took me 2 decades to perfect. So today, you are getting the full masterclass. We are going deep into the science, strategy, and the step-by-step systems that will transform your garden from a seasonal hobby into a year-round food production powerhouse. This is not just another plant tomatoes in spring video, as we are covering advanced techniques like succession planting matrices, microclimate manipulation, season extension strategies, and the exact timing formulas that most gardeners never learn. Here's exactly what you will master today. First, we will decode the spring planting sequence that ensures continuous harvest from March through June. Then the summer management system that keeps your garden producing even in extreme heat. Next, the fall gardening secret that let you harvest fresh vegetables well into winter. And finally, the winter strategies that set you up for explosive spring growth. Plus, I am sharing my personal season by season checklist, the exact varieties I plant in each zone, and the 3 biggest mistakes that kill most seasonal gardens. By the end of this video, you will have a complete roadmap for every single week of the gardening year. So the spring success starts with understanding that spring is not a calendar date, it's a biological process. Most gardeners fail because they plant by the calendar instead of reading the actual conditions. So here's the foundation principle. Soil temperature drives everything. Air temperature gets the headlines, but soil temperature determines whether your seeds will germinate, thrive or not in the ground. I check soil temperature every morning at 6 am, 4 inches deep, and I don't plant until it is consistently at the right level for 3 consecutive days. Cool season crops need soil temperatures between 40 to 50 degree Fahrenheit. Warm season crops needs between 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The difference between success and the failure is often just 10 degrees. Here's my exact testing protocol. Use a soil thermometer, not an air thermometer. Check at 4-inch depth, same time every day. In the area you plant your plantation. Take readings for 3 consecutive days before making planting decisions. Now here's where it gets strategic. I divide spring into 5 distinct phases, not 3 like most gardeners. Each phase has specific windows for specific crops, and missing these windows cost you weeks of production. So phase 1 is pre-spring separation. 6 to 8 weeks before last frost. Phase 2, early spring planting. That is 4 to 6 weeks before last frost. And phase 3 is mid-spring succession, which is 2 to 4 weeks before last frost. And phase 4, that is late spring transition, last frost date to 2 weeks after. And phase 5, that is spring summer bridge, which is 2 to 4 weeks after the last frost. Pre-spring is when champions are made. While others are dreaming about gardening, you are already working. This is the soil preparation time, and it's the most important phase that everyone skips. Start with comprehensive soil testing, not just pH, but test for nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, organic matter, and soil compaction. I use both electronic meters and laboratory tests. The electronic meters give me instant feedback, but lab tests reveal the full picture. Based on test result, I amend my soil. For heavy clay, I add compost plus coarse sand, never fine sand, which creates concrete. For sandy soil, I add compost plus aged manure to improve water retention. For perfect loam, I just add compost to maintain organic matter levels. So work amendments into the top 8 to 10 inches of soil. I use a broad fork to break up compaction without disturbing soil structure. Never work with wet soil. It destroys structure and creates hard pad layers that roots can't penetrate. And this is also when I set up season extension structures. Cold frames, row covers, and low tunnels all need to be ready before you need them. I position cold frames facing south with a 30-degree angle on the top for maximum sun exposure. Early spring is when we plant our cold hardy champions. These crops not only tolerate cold, they actually prefer it. Plant them too late and they will bolt into the heat. So let's start with the pea family. Plant peas when soil temperature reaches 40 Fahrenheit. I plant sugar snap peas, snow peas, and shelling peas in succession 1 week apart. Plant seeds 1 inch deep, 2 inches apart, in rows 6 inches apart. Install supports immediately. Peas grow faster than you expect. Then comes lettuce and greens. I plant 5 different varieties with different heat tolerance. Black seeded Simpsons for earliest harvest, butter crunch for heat tolerance, red cells for color, arugula for spice, and mizuna for continuous cutting. Plant seeds 1 to 4 inch deep, thin to 4 to 6 inches apart. So onions are crucial for season long harvest. I plant onion sets for green onions. Then I transplant for storage onions and seeds for specialty varieties. So you have to plant sets 1 inch deep, 4 inches apart. Plant transplants at the same depth they were growing in the pot. Also for radishes, they are your quick win crop. Plant every 10 days for continuous harvest. I plant cherry belly for speed, French breakfast for flavor, and watermelon for uniqueness. So you can plant seeds 0.5 inches deep and thin to 1 inch apart. And then for the spinach, that is the spring superfood. So plant space for baby leaves, bloom's tail for traditional spinach, and red knighton for color. Plant seeds 0.5 inch deep, thin to 3 inches apart, and harvest outer leaves when plants reaches 4 inches taller. Mid-spring is when we start our warm season crops indoors while continuing school season succession outdoors. This is the most complex phase because you are managing both indoor and outdoor growing simultaneously. So start with tomatoes for 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. I plant determinate varieties like Roma for sauce, interminate varieties like Cherokee purple and slicing, and cherry varieties for sapphire red for snacking. Plant seeds 1 to 4th inch deep in seed starting mix. Maintain 7 to 75% Fahrenheit soil temperature. Peppers need more heat than tomatoes. Start them 8 to 10 weeks before last frost. I grow California Wonder bell peppers, jalapeno for heat, and shishito for grilling. Pepper usually seeds 80 to 85 degree Fahrenheit to germinate, so use heat mats consistently. You can start with herbs for transplanting later. Basil, oregano, parsley from seed. Rosemary, thyme and sage from transplants because they are slow from seed. Plant herb seeds 1 to 4 inch deep. Maintain consistent moisture but not waterlogged. Now continue succession planting cool season crops. Plant lettuce every 2 weeks, radishes every 10 days, and spinach every 3 weeks. Then use a planting calendar to track succession schedules. I use a simple spreadsheet with planting dates and harvest projections. Now begin hardening of transplants 7 to 10 days before outdoor planting. You can start with 2 hours of morning sun, then increase by 2 hours daily. Bring plants inside if temperatures drop below 45 degrees. This process prevents transplant shock and creates stronger plants. Summer gardening is not just about keeping your plants alive. It is about turning up the productivity. While many gardeners struggle during heat waves, I'll show you how to turn July and August into powerhouse growing months. Plants like people have their limits. When temperature climb above 85 degree, growth slows or halts unless you adjust your environment. A tomato stressed by heat won't flower properly, but with the right setup, you will get strong yields all summer long. So I divide my space into microclimates. Leafy greens go where they get morning sun and afternoon shade. Melons and okra thrive in the south-facing zone. This zoning helps me match the crop to the climate without moving to a different USD zone. While summer is not one long season, it's a series of small windows. I divide into early, mid and late phases and set goals for each. Watering setup in early summer, pest control in mid and succession planting in late summer. Water management is your number one summer skill. Overwatering drowns roots. Underwatering stunts growth. So I aim to water 2-3 times per week, but each time I soak the soil 8 to 10 inches deep. So you can use a moisture meter or your finger to test soil below the surface. If the top is dry but 2 inches down, it's moist, so skip watering. Now, top up your mulch layer now. I use straw for veggies, shredded leaves for herbs, and clover in my pathways. This alone cuts my watering needs by half. Jericho, cabbage like Red Express, and beets like Detroit Dark Red can keep your harvest going. Every morning I walk my garden, just 5 minutes. I look for signs of stress like curling leaves or new holes. I also spot helpers, ladybugs, and lace wings that naturally control pests. And I add in companion plants now. Basil improves tomato flavor, marigolds deter nematodes, nasturtiums attract pests away from your crops. So think of them as your garden bodyguards. Midsummer is when discipline pays off. Maintenance routines make or break your garden. Tomatoes, for instance. I prune suckers weekly. Those shoots between stem and branches steal energy. So remove them and your plant focuses on fruit. When my intermediate tomatoes reach the top of their cage, I top them. I also remove lower leaves to avoid soil splash and disease. These steps double my tomato yield. So now what? Peppers and eggplants? Well, different story. I pinch early flowers and remove the first few fruits so the plant can build a strong base. After that, I take the branches, especially for varieties like bell peppers and Rosa Bianca eggplant. The herbs are the powerhouse when harvested right. So always cut above a leaf node because this encourages bushier growth. And don't wait. Basil is best harvested before it blooms. Mid-morning after few evaporates and gives you the peak flavor. So harvest timing matters more than you think. Zucchini picked at 6 to 8 inches are tender. Tomatoes picked when they start to blush ripen faster indoors. And peppers. You need to harvest at full size for better texture and yield continuity. Well, in extreme heat, protect your plants. Shade cloth is your friend. A 30 to 50% cloth lowers stress without stopping photosynthesis. And avoid midday gardening, as stressed plants are prone to pests, and so are you. Late summer is not the end, it's the setup for fall. So I start my fall crops 12 to 14 weeks before the first frost. That may feel early, but remember, shorter days means slower growth. I start brassicas like broccoli and Brussels sprouts under protection. They take time. I seed them in late July or early August and transplant them when they have 4 to 6 true leaves. That gets them established before they cool down. As summer crops wind down, I prep fall beds. I pull out failing plants fast. No point keeping a sick zucchini. So I mix in compost right away to recharge the soil before planting. Then season extension prep starts now too. So I check my cold frames and row covers, repair anything worn out, and plan their placements to capture low angle sunlight as days shorten. And I always save seeds. My best performers, the most productive and disease resistant, get flagged early. So late tomatoes fully ripen, beans dry in pods, and herbs flower. That's how you breed a garden adapted to your backyard. Now quick growers like radishes, lettuce and spinach fill gaps left by harvested summer crops. Calculate backward from your frost date to squeeze in one last round. And don't slack on pests now. Remove weeds, release ladybugs and rotate crops. Late summer pest management keeps your fall crops clean and healthy. Fall is a hidden gem in the gardening calendar. While many gardeners begin packing up, seasoned growers know this is time for some of the best testing low maintenance crops. After the autumn equinox, daylight shortens fast. By October, plants grow 50% slower than they did in August. This means you need to plant early and plant smart. Your timing margin is much tighter. Fall is not just cooler, it is more variable. One day might feel like summer, the next early winter. These shifts stretch plants differently, so your strategies need to be adjusted. Now certain crops actually love fall. Carrots and kale sweeten after a light frost. Brussels sprouts become more tender. Unlike spring, these crops don't bolt. They settle in and improve with the chill. And to keep harvesting, I stagger lettuce every 2 weeks into September and use light row covers to protect them as time steep. Radishes, I can plant them into October in most zones. This is the transplant window for crops seeded in late summer. Broccoli, cabbage, kale. They need special care to settle into cooler shifting conditions. So I transplant when seedlings have 4 to 6 true leaves, usually about 4 weeks after sowing. I water them, both the plant and the hole before placing them in. That reduces transplant shock. After transplanting, I shade them 3 to 5 days even in fall. So that buffer helps them adjust before the weather takes a sudden turn. Watering needs to change now. Cool air and shorter days slow down evaporation. That means less frequent watering but still deep. Moisture meters help me avoid overdoing it, which is more dangerous in fall than drying out. In fall, focus on roots, not leaves. I use compost and fertilizers higher in phosphorus and potassium, like a 5 to 10 mix. Nitrogen goes down. You want root strength, not leafy growth. Also, pest threats shift too. Summer bugs fade, but cabbage worms and aphids ramp up. Row covers act as physical barriers. No sprays needed. It's clean, simple protection. Mid-fall is when we turn into season extension. This is not just about stretching the season. It's about turning a 6-month garden into a 10th month one. Row covers go on before the frost hits, not after. I start using them when night drops below 45 degrees. That way, the soil stays warmer and growth continues. Cold frames let you grow even through freezing nights. I vent mine during the day to avoid overheating and close them by late afternoon. Lettuce, spinach, and even chard thrive in them. So frost actually improves flavor in some crops. Kale loses bitterness, carrots turn sugary, and Brussels sprouts mellow. So wait until after a light frost for a big test. And for storage crops, curing is the key. So I cure onions in a dry, shady spot for 10 days, and winter squash gets 2 weeks. Hence it extends their storage by months. Late fall is cleanup and prep time. What you do now sets the tone for spring. So think of it as gardening for the future. Remove plants smartly. Healthy ones get chopped and composted. Diseased ones, well, you can trash them. And don't get fungal problems or pest eggs carry over. Add compost while the soil is still workable. This gives microbes time to break things down before spring. I also test soil and apply amendments like lime or bone meal based on those results and not guesswork. So tool care matters. I clean oil and sharpen everything before putting it away. So that way when spring comes, I'm not wasting energy fixing rusty pruners. And winterize your garden infrastructure. Don't just drain hoses, disconnect timers, fold up anything wind might toss around. If it won't survive snow or wind, you can store it. Most people think gardening ends with the first frost, but with the right system in place, winter can be productive and deeply satisfying part of your gardening year. Cold frames are my winter workhorses. I build mine with recycled windows and angle them to face south. Inside, water jugs absorb heat during the day and release it at night, keeping drains from freezing. So, in even the coldest zones, cold frames let you harvest hardy greens like lettuce, spinach, and radishes all winter. It's like having a mini greenhouse. So, don't underestimate the power of your indoor growing. A basic shelf, LED grow lights, a timer, and seed trays. That's all you need to grow herbs, microgreens, and even sprouts indoors year round. So, if you are lucky enough to have a greenhouse, winter management comes down to airflow and heat retention. I use thermal masks like water barrels and vent on sunny days to prevent fungal diseases. So keep succession planting even in winter. Lettuce every 3 weeks, microgreens every 2 sprouts every week. It's about the rhythm. So be it small, consistent harvest that keep you connected to your garden. Winter is the garden's off season, but it's not the time off. It is the planning season. What you do now shapes how successful and how enjoyable next year's garden will be. So start with your records. What worked well? What didn't? When did pests show up? How did certain varieties perform? These notes are pure gold. Don't rely on memory. When choosing seeds, look beyond pretty pictures. I focus on varieties that offer disease resistance, extended harvest, and tolerance to my local conditions. I test 2 to 3 new ones each year, but I always keep my proven winners. So plant your layout with crop rotation in mind. Never plant the same family in the same spot 2 years in a row. Rotation reduces pest buildup and maintains soil health. Think beyond plants. What infrastructure upgrades could make your garden more efficient? A better compost bin, raised beds, improved irrigation. Well, winter is your time to dream and design. While maintenance is low effort but high impact, the small things you keep running now save hours when spring days. Keep your compost active. Turn it monthly if you can and keep feeding it. Kitchen scraps and dry leaves keep the pile balanced. Decomposition slows, but it does not stop. Set up your seed starting station now. Clean trays, test lights, and organize your seeds. When it's go time in February or March, you will be ready, not scrambling. I test my soil every 2 to 3 years. It tells me exactly what amendments I need and helps me adjust pH, which affects nutrient availability. So winter is the perfect time to do this before planting ramps up. And this is what winter gardening looks like: quiet, intentional, and strategic. You are not just growing winter, you are setting up the entire year for success. Even expert gardeners face challenges. What sets them apart is how quickly they recognize and fix them. So let's cover the most common issues and how I troubleshoot them. Timing errors top the list. Plant too early and you risk frost damage. Plant too late and you lose your harvest window. I use soil temperature, not just dates, to guide my planting. That is more reliable. Soil issues often sneak up slowly. If your plants are weak or stunted, test your soil. Compaction, pH imbalance, and nutrient deficiency can't be fixed with guesswork. They need targeted action. And now, finally, weather adaptation. Gardening is part science, part flexibility. So, I prepare for extremes with shade cloth, drainage trenches, frost covers, and wind protection. One afternoon of setup can save your entire season. Whether you are gardening in Arizona's dry heat or Maini's ice springs, your climate shapes every seed you plant. So in this video, I will walk you through how to weatherproof your garden by understanding your local US zone, seasonal challenges, and exactly how to adapt your methods to grow successfully in every season. So from heavy rains to droughts and suddenly frost to heat waves, your garden can thrive year round if you plant smarter and not harder. So you can start here, your USD hardiness zone. It's a map of the average minimum winter temperatures across regions. If you are in zone 3, expect 30-degree winters. In zone 10, it rarely freezes. So here are some zone basics. First up, zone 3 to 5, that is northern states, which is short growing seasons. Then zones 6 to 7, that is mid-Atlantic and Midwest, moderate seasons. And zone 8 to 10, southern states and coastal California, long seasons. But here's what most gardeners miss. Your yard has microclimates. A south-facing wall traps heat. A tree canopy provides frost protection. A wind corridor dries soil faster. So understanding these small variations is your first step towards climate-smart gardening. Now let's talk weather extremes and how your garden can survive, even thrive through them. If it is heavy rain, then build raised beds or mounds to improve drainage. You can add compost plus coarse sand to heavy clay soil. Avoid compacting soil after rain. Wait until it dries. Drought and heat waves. Well, you can use deep mulch 2 to 4 inches of straw, wood chips or leaves. Install drip irrigation system for efficient watering. Grow drought tolerant varieties like okra, eggplant and pole beans. And in wind and storms, use windbreaks, shrubs, trestles or fencing. Stake tall crops like corn or sunflowers early. You can plant in blocks rather than single rows for support. For frost and cold snaps, always watch the 10-day forecast before planting. Use row covers, frost blankets, clutches for protection. And in colder zones, start seeds indoors and harden off properly. You don't fight the weather, you plan for it. Spring is when most gardeners get eager, but timing is everything, especially across different zones. So here's how to adapt your spring strategy based on where you live. Now first let's talk about zones 3 to 5. Where winters linger longer, don't rush. Start seeds indoors for slow growers like tomatoes and peppers in March. Direct sow cold hardy crops, peas, spinach, carrots in late April to May. And use low tunnels or cold frames to extend the early planting windows. Zones 6 to 7. You can start up spring crops outdoors by mid-March. Direct slow lettuce, kale, onions and beets. Start warm season crops like tomatoes and squash indoors by early April. Also protect young seedlings from surprise frost with frost cloth. And for the zones 8 to 10, you can spring starts early and fast. Direct sow almost everything by mid-Feb to March. Shade cool season crops with shade cloth to prevent bolting. And you are also prepping for an early summer heat wave, so start mulching by April. The key? Well, soil temperature matters more than calendar dates. Invest in a soil thermometer. It tells you when the garden is ready better than your weather app. Summer can be your most productive or most stressful season. Here's how to thrive no matter the heat. Now we'll talk about zone by zone summer tactics. Starting from zones 3 to 5. Here focus on heat loving crops like tomatoes, cucumbers, beans, squash. Water early mornings, deep and slow. Use black plastic mulch to warm soil faster in early summer. And watch for sudden hailstorms. Row covers help protect tender plants. For zones 6 to 7, succession plant heat tolerant greens like Malabar spinach and New Zealand spinach. Mulch heavily to reduce watering needs. Also monitor your pests like aphids and squash bugs. You have to check leaves early morning. Use insect netting rather than pesticides. For zones 8 to 10, shift towards drought tolerant varieties like okra, cowpeas and eggplant. Use shade cloth on lettuce, herbs and peppers. Consider planting in the evening or late afternoon to reduce transplant shock. Limit container planting unless you can irrigate daily. And for the watering wisdom, use drip irrigation or soaker hoses. Water to a depth of 6 to 8 inches. Less frequent, deeper watering develops better roots than daily shallow watering. And remember, summer is not about surviving, it's about preparing your garden to manage this stress proactively. Let's get real. Climate change is making gardening unpredictable, but smart systems can help you stay ahead. Here's how I prepare for the extremes. For storms and high winds, always stake tall plants early, not after damage. Use trill systems with cross bracing. Cover raised beds with mesh to prevent soil erosion. Anchor lightweight containers before storms. For the wildfire smoke or excessive heat, always provide temporary shade with row covers or shade sails. Water in the early morning to keep plants hydrated before peak sun. And avoid pruning during extreme heat. It stresses the plant further. For the flooding and heavy rain, elevate garden beds with gravel trenches. Switch to water tolerant rootstocks like grafted tomatoes. And use cover crops in low areas to anchor soil. For sudden cold snaps or frost, row covers or plastic tunnels give up to 6 degrees of protection. So harvest sensitive crops before the frost. Also water the soil well before a freeze. It holds heat after better than dry soil. Lastly, weather events don't have to be disasters. If you prepare ahead, your garden will bounce back faster and stronger. Want to grow your own fresh carrots and strawberries at home? No matter which US state or climate you live in. So now I will walk you through the complete process of growing both from scratch, like soil prep, sowing, watering, pest protection and harvesting step by step. Whether you are in Texas heat or Michigan's cooler zones, this guide has you covered. First up is growing carrots from scratch. So carrots are a cool season crop. That means they grow best when the air is cool and the soil is moist but not cold. In the US, the best planting windows are early spring and fall. In zones 3 to 6, Plant in April or August. In zones 7 to 10, plant as early as Feb or in late September. Second is choosing the right carrot variety. So choose the right carrot for your soil type. For shallow or rocky soil, go for Pargian or Thumbelina. For deep loose soil, grow Danvers or Nance organic seeds. Either works, just ensure they are untreated. Fourth is sowing carrot seeds. You just have to mix seeds with sand for even distribution. Sow directly into the soil. Do not start indoors. Space needs 0.5 inch apart or 1 to 4 inch deep. Lightly cover with fine soil and press gently. Mist with water, never flood. Fifth is watering and thinning. Carrots need consistent moisture, never soggy, never dry. Water lightly daily until germination. After that, 1 inch of water per week. Thin seedlings when 2 inches tall, spaced to 2 inches apart. Don't pull, snip with scissors to avoid disturbing roots. Sixth is pest and disease protection. So we all know carrots are unsusceptible to carrot rust flies and fungal diseases. So use row covers for the first month. Avoid overwatering to prevent root rot. Rotate crops. Don't plant carrots in the same spot yearly. Remove weeds to prevent pest habitats. The seventh method is harvesting and storing. Usually carrots mature in 60 to 80 days. So tug gently to check size. Loosen soil before pulling. For sweeter taste, harvest after a light frost. Store in damp sand in a cool garage or fridge drawer. And the last is common problems and their fixes. So, have you forked roots? While soil was not loose enough. Tiny carrots, well, then that is for the thinned, too late. Bitter taste, soil dried out or harvested too late. Don't worry, it takes a season or two to master it. Now let's move on to growing strawberries from scratch. First step is choosing strawberry type. There are 3 types of strawberries. June bearing, 1 big harvest in early summer. Ever bearing, 2 main harvests, that is spring and fall. And third is day neutral, to produce small amounts continuously. In zones 3 to 6, go for June bearing. In zones 7 to 10, day neutral works best. Second is picking the right spot. Your strawberries need full sun, that is 6 plus hours daily. Well drained, slightly acidic soil. For pH 5.5 to 6.8. Raised beds or containers work well to prevent soggy roots. Third step is preparing soil and bed. Mix compost and aged pine bark into the top 8 inches. Avoid fresh manure, causes soft berries. Add slow release organic fertilizer with potassium and phosphorus. Foam raised mounds or rows about 12 to 18 inches high and 18 inches wide. The fourth step is planting strawberries. Plant bare root or plug plants in early spring. Space plants 12 to 8 inches apart. Do not bury the crown. It should sit right at soil level. Water deeply right after planting. The fifth step is carrying through the season. Mulch with straw or pine needles to retain moisture and keep berries clean. Remove runners if growing in containers or for max fruit. Feed after 4 to 6 weeks. with diluted fish, emulsion, or berry fertilizers. The sixth step is dealing with pests. Well, birds, slugs, and fungal diseases are your main threat. Use bird netting. Apply diatomaceous earth for slugs. Water at base, not leaves. Strong mulch also reduces fruit rot. The seventh step is harvesting and storing. Pick strawberries when fully red, not before. They don't ripen after harvest. Check every 2 days. Use scissors, not hands, to avoid damaging plants. Store in fridge, unwashed, in a single layer for 3 to 5 days. And the last step is winter prep and regrowth. After the season, trim plants to 2 inches tall and mulch heavily with straw. In cold zones, cover with frost blankets. Next spring, remove mulch early and fertilizer. Your plants will come back stronger. Well, now you just learned how to grow 2 of the most rewarding crops at home from scratch. Like, comment, and share your gardening progress below. Subscribe for more US zone friendly growing guides. And remember, every big harvest starts with one small seed. Now we will see how to grow spinach from scratch. Spinach is a nutrient-packed leafy green that grows best in cool weather and matures quickly, making it one of the easiest and most rewarding vegetables to grow at home. Whether you are a beginner or a seasoned gardener, you can grow fresh spinach in your backyard, balcony containers, or raised beds. Start by choosing the right variety for your region and purpose. For fall or early spring, go with Bloomsdale or Thai. They are cold hardy. For warmer spring conditions, try Space, which are more bolt resistant. Avoid planting during summer as spinach molts quickly in hot weather. In most US regions, plant spinach 4 to 6 weeks before the last spring frost or 6 to 8 weeks before the first fall frost. You can direct sow spinach outdoors or start indoors and transplant. Spinach prefers well-drained soil with pH water 6.0 to 7.5. Keep the soil evenly moist, especially during germination, which takes 7 to 14 days. Use a fine mist spray or watering can to avoid displacing seeds. Once established, mulch the soil to retain moisture and suppress weeds. Spinach does not need heavy feeding. Compost at planting time is often enough. Now for sunlight and spacing. Spinach prefers full sun in cool weather and partial shade in warmer areas. Thin seedlings once they have 2 sets of true leaves. Final spacing should be about 4 to 6 inches between plants to allow full leaf development. Spinach is prone to leaf miners and downy mildew. Inspect leaves regularly. Look for winding trails inside the leaves, which are signs of leaf miners. Use floating row covers to prevent flying pests. Avoid overhead watering to reduce fungal issues. You can start harvesting baby spinach leaves in 3 to 4 weeks and full-size leaves by 6 to 7 weeks. Cut outer leaves first, allowing the center to continue producing for multiple harvests. Harvest early in the morning for best flavor and texture. Fresh spinach stores best unwashed in the fridge inside a loosely closed bag with paper towels to absorb moisture. You can also add blanch and freeze it for smoothies, soups, and sautés. Now the next step is how to grow blueberries in your garden from scratch. Now think blueberries are just for farms? Think again. With the right prep, you can grow sweet antioxidant-rich blueberries right in your backyard, even in a container. The first step is choosing the right variety. So start by selecting the right variety for your USD zone. If you are in zone 3 to 5, go for low bush blueberries, cold hardy and compact. In zones 4 to 7, choose high bush, great yields and disease resistance. And if you live in the zone 7 to 9, then rabbit blueberries are your best bet. They handle heat and humidity. Now the next step is planting blueberries. So plant your blueberries in early spring or fall. Dig a hole twice as wide and just as deep as the root wall. Now mix the native soil with compost and pine bark. Set the plant in the hole, spread the roots and cover with soil. Water thoroughly. Next is mulching and spacing. Mulch with 2 to 3 inches of pine needles, wood chips or shredded leaves. This keeps the soil moist and acidic. For multiple plants, space them 4 to 5 feet apart and rows at least 8 feet apart to allow airflow and easy harvesting. Blueberries have shallow roots, so they need consistent moisture. Water 1 to 2 inches per week, more during fruiting. Use a fertilizer made for acid-loving plants like azaleas in early spring and again after fruiting. Now here is a pro tip. Remove blossoms the first year to help the plant focus on root development. Next up is pollination and pest management. Plant this at least 2 different blueberries varieties to improve pollination and increase yields. Blueberries attract few pests, but watch for birds. They love ripe berries as much as you do. So use bird netting or garden fleece to protect your crop. Blueberries are ready when they are deep blue and come off with a gentle tug, usually 2 to 3 years after planting. They are perennials properly cared for, so they can produce fruit for up to 20 years. Now I'll tell you about how to grow bell peppers at home by a complete step-by-step guide from seed to harvest. So, are you ready to grow your own colorful crispy bell peppers at home even if you are a beginner? Well, stick around because in the next 15 minutes I will walk you through every step. First up is choosing the right variety and climate fit. So firstly, choose the right variety for your US zone. If you are in the northern states, go for short season peppers like King of the North. South growers can try heat tolerant ones like California Wonder or Purple Beauty. As bell peppers love full sun and warm weather, ideally about 70 degrees. Next up is starting from seeds indoors. Start seeds indoors 8 to 10 weeks before your last expected frost. Use a seed starting mix and plant seeds about 1.4 inch deep. Keep the trays on a heating mat set around 75 to 80 degree Fahrenheit. Once sprouted, move them under grow lights for 12 to 16 hours per day. Now harden off seedlings by placing them outside for a few hours a day over a week. Transplant outdoors when night's temperature stays above 55 degrees. Now space up plants 18 to 4 inches apart in rich, well-draining soil. Personally, I mix in compost and aged manure before planting. Now bell peppers need full sun, at least 6 to 8 hours daily. So you have to water deeply once or twice a week, depending on heat and rainfall. Now avoid shallow watering as it weakens hot root development. Personally, I use drip irrigation to target roots and reduce fungal risk. And for the support and mulching, use small stakes or cages to support plants once they hit 12 inches tall. Bell peppers can become top heavy. Also, Mulch with straw or shredded leaves to retain moisture, suppress weeds, and keep the soil warm. Peppers are heavy feeders. I fertilize twice a month using a balanced organic fertilizer or compost tea. I will say avoid too much nitrogen as it causes lots of leaves but fewer peppers. So look for formulas higher in phosphorus and potassium. Watch out for pests like aphids and pepper maggots. I spray neem oil weekly as prevention. I also plant basil and marigolds nearby as they naturally deter bugs, and if needed, use floating row covers early in the season. Harvest when the peppers reach full size and firm texture. Green peppers are usually ready first, but leaving them longer will might turn them red, yellow or orange depending on the variety, and sweeten the flavor. Use scissors to cut them clean and avoiding plant damage. For the storage of peppers, store fresh peppers in the fridge for up to 10 days or slice and freeze them for year-round use. I love adding homegrown peppers to stir fries, pasta, and even salads as they are nutritious and loaded with flavor. And that's how you grow bell peppers from scratch. And if you get any questions or your own tips, then you can drop in the comments as well. Have you ever dreamed of picking fresh apples right from your backyard? Well, with dwarf apple trees, it's not only possible, it is surprisingly simple. In this video, I will walk you through how to grow apples from scratch, even in small spaces. So the first step is choosing the right variety for your zone. In the US, zones 4 through 8 are perfect for most apple types. Go for dwarf varieties like Honeycrisp, Gala or Fuji, as this grows just 8 to 10 feet tall and fit well in backyards or even large containers. So plant your tree in early spring or fall. Pick a sunny spot. Apple trees need at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight daily. So make sure the area has well drained soil and good air circulation. Avoid low lying spots that collect water. So here's how to plant it from scratch. Firstly, dig a hole twice as wide and just as deep as the root ball. Now gently remove the tree from the pot. Now tease out roots if they are circling. Now place it in the hole with a graft union 2 inches above soil level. Black quill with soil and press gently and water deeply. So water your tree every 7 to 10 days in the first year. More during dry spells. Mulch with 2 to 3 inches of shredded bark or straw, but keep it 2 inches away from the trunk. Now fertilize in early spring using balanced fertilizer or compost. Avoid overfeeding as apples love moderation. Prune in late winter before new growth starts. Remove dead or crossing branches and keep an open center for airflow. For pollination, most apples need a partner. So plant at least 2 compatible varieties or use a grafted tree with multiple layers. Keep an eye out for common pests like apple maggots, aphids and cordling moths. Use sticky traps or neem oil as organic control and install tree guards to prevent rodent damage during winter, as it really needs to be taken care of during that time. So harvest time. Apples are ready when they easily come off the tree and feel firm. Taste one before picking the rest. Dwarf trees can start bearing fruit in just 2 to 3 years. With proper care, you will enjoy homegrown apples every season. So zucchini is one of the easiest and most rewarding vegetables you can grow in your home garden. Whether you are in California or Connecticut, I'll show you exactly how to grow zucchini from scratch. And in this process, you need no experience, just soil, sunshine, and the right steps. So let's dive in. So the first step is choosing the right variety as usual, plus when to plant. So choose your zucchini variety. If you are new, start with the Black Beauty. It's fast, productive, and widely adaptable. For a bit of color, try golden zucchini. In most US zones, zucchini is a warm season crop. That means wait until after the last frost, around April in warmer zones, and late May to early June in cooler regions, as the soil temperature should be at least 60 degrees before planting. Also, zucchini loves rich, well-draining soil with a pH between 6 and 7.5. So prepare your bed by losing the soil 12 inches deep. You can also add compost or aged manure at least 2 inches thick and mix it in. And if you are in heavy clay soil, consider using a raised bed or mount the soil up 6 to 8 inches, as this improves drainage and warms the soil faster, as zucchini hates cold feet. If mildew appears, mix 1 tablespoon baking soda plus 1 tablespoon dish soap and 1 gallon of water and spray weekly. As harvest zucchini when they are 6 to 8 inches long every 2 to 3 days. So don't wait too long or they will become speedy or tough. Use a clean knife or pruning shears and always check the base of the plant. Zucchini hides well, so store fresh zucchini in your refrigerator for up to 5 days. And for long-term use, blanch and freeze sliced zucchini, as they are perfect for soups and stir-fries. So here are some top mistakes that you should avoid while planting it. First is planting too early in cold soil. Also avoid overwatering or watering on leaves. Third, ignoring pollination or pest until it's too late. And the last but not the least is harvesting too late, as zucchini grows really fast. And also, I have some top tips for the success of your first ever zucchini plant. Use mulch and drip irrigation. Then choose varieties suited to your zone, as it is very important according to the temperature. Regular feeding and pruning, and peak early and often for best taste and more fruit. And remember, zucchini is incredibly productive, so just 2 to 3 plants can feed a whole family for the season. And there you have it, a complete journey through the seasons, right from planning your spring garden to harvesting fresh produce in winter. Whether you are a beginner or a seasoned grower, you have now got the tools, the know-how, and the confidence to grow food all year round, no matter where you live in the US. But remember, gardening is not just about growing plants, it's about growing yourself. It's about patience, observation, and learning from the soil every single day. As every mistake is a step forward, every seed you plant is a future waiting to bloom. So now it's your turn. Pick a season, choose your zone, and just get started. You don't need a farm or a fancy gear. All you need is a patch of soil, a little sunlight, and this guide on repeat if needed. What questions or wins to share? Drop them in the comments as I read each one of them. And please subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss out our next video, including deep dives on composting, organic pest control, or vertical gardening, and many more. And before you go, If this masterclass helped you in any way, give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs to see it, and most importantly, keep growing. Until next time, happy gardening.